Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for joining us. I'm Megan. I'm the children's book buyer at Book People.
And I'm Eugenia. I do kids events and marketing at Book People. We are really excited to share some of our favorite books of the year for you. And we've got a little bit of everything today. Megan, do you want to start
Absolutely.
us off?
Yeah, I think we probably can find something for everyone here. So Eugenia, could you put up the image of the first book I wanted to talk about because I don't have it in real life yet. So this is called Stunt Boy in the meantime. And this is the story of a boy who lives in a giant castle made from the glassiest glass and the brickiest bricks on earth, aka Skylight Gardens Apartments. And from his perch at the top of Skylight Gardens, Portico Reeves keeps an eye on his neighbors, on his friends, and all the goings on around him to make sure nothing goes wrong. And when he thinks something might get wrong, he flies in to take the heat before anyone gets hurt, deploying his trademark stunts to distract, disarm, and keep problems at bay while keeping control of his own frets, which is, anxiety. But if you're thinking that you might want to follow in the footsteps of Stunt Boy and be a local hero for your neighborhood, I would ask, so Henya, what would you do if you saw maybe an elderly neighbor taking an ill-advised trip down the stairs without holding onto the railing or something else you thought was unsafe? Would you perhaps, go ahead?
I'd throw a mattress at the bottom.
Well, Stunt
You
Boy
could
is
just
a
pull
few
out a mattress.
stunts. Yeah, that could work. Stunt Boy is a few stunts ahead of you because what he decides to do is throw himself down the stairs first before his neighbor can make that mistake himself. So he saves the day by taking the hit. So his stunts are rather unconventional, but I think everyone can relate to his desire to want to protect those around him and, the feeling of anxiety that he gets when he thinks someone he cares about might get hurt. So he is a hero for our times. His name is Stunt Boy, and he comes to us from author Jason Reynolds, who's a favorite author of ours, and with really cool drawings all throughout by cartoonist Raoul III, who's another favorite of ours. So I feel like this is a really great collaboration. It's got humor, it's got heart, it's got really silly stunts that I don't recommend you try at home. But ultimately, it's about a boy determined to do the right thing and keep all the people he knows safe in the end.
I love that. Go, Stunt Boy, go. That's awesome. So I have the first book that I'm going to talk about is perfect for everyone looking for a fierce female protagonist and going on a great adventure. And that is Cece Rios and the Desert of Souls by Kayla Rivera. And so Cece Rios, our hero or heroine, lives in Tierra del Sol, which can be a little bit dangerous, especially during the Criatura months. That is when these powerful spirits break free and come and haunt the town. Now, Cece, she's very empathetic and she figures that there is more to these criaturas than meets the eyes. That is until the most powerful criatura, El Sombreron, kidnaps her sister Juana. So now Cece is off on an adventure along with her trusty best friend Coyote to save her sister from El Sombreron. So this is, as David Bowles refers to it, Pokemon meets Coco. It is perfect for anyone who loves great mythology-inspired stories like Charlie Hernandez and the League of Shadows, The Total Eclipse of Nestor Lopez, even Percy Jackson. This is Mexican Mesoamerican mythology inspired adventure. So really fun, high stakes. You learn a lot about the culture. And I think this is a great one to share with friends who are really into those types of adventures. So Cece Rios and the Desert of Souls.
And she makes some really good friends along the way. It's definitely worth it. Okay, my next story is a little bit different, but this is perfect for readers who might have a really tender heart, but a very fierce spirit. This is a story about protecting the world around you. It's a world a lot like our own, but not exactly. This is a world inhabited by stinktastic screechers and irresistible hummingbirds that live in this, kind of at-risk environment that, is threatened by wildfires, and other dangers, including poachers, because not everyone in the town likes these stinky screechers who screech all the time and make all of this stink. They do like the hummingbirds, and they're worried about why the hummingbirds aren't coming around so much anymore. This is the story of two kids. One is a naturalist. She is an observer. She loves nature. She loves these animals. She sees the good in the screechers. She sees that they are unique and interesting. And she sees the good in the hummingbirds too, but she also wants to protect both of them. And it is the story of an artist. He is an artist who has this power of sort of infusing his sculptures with the essence of what he's basing them on. And when he sees how upset she is about the plight of the screechers and how threatened they are, he makes her one. And the combination of his art and her angry tears at the injustice they face brings a little bit of magic into the world. And this is the story of, people who can make a difference. It's the story of, even in small ways, the ways we can change the minds of people around us, affect them, talk to them about things we're passionate about and care about and know about, and sometimes make a change or make a difference. Like I said, this is absolutely the perfect book for anyone with a really tender heart who might want to hug a hummingbird, but who also might have a really fierce spirit, who might want to stand in front of a screecher and save it at the end of the day. So Willow Dean by Catherine Applegate, I recommend.
It's really hard to focus on what you're saying because that hummingbird on the cover is just so cute. I love it. Okay, up next for me is, if anyone feels like a fantasy, reading something magical and ethereal and a great tale of sisterhood, this is Sisters of the Neversea by Cynthia Leidig Smith. And some of you might be familiar with J.M. Barrie's story, Peter Pan. Some of you might know Peter Pan from the Disney movie, which is great. So this is basically a reimagining of the classic Peter Pan tale that so many of us love, so many of us are familiar with, except it is told from the perspective of Wendy and Lily, who in this reimagining are actually sisters. Wendy is English born, Lily is Muskogee Creek, and they soon discover this boy who some might consider a hero, but in this case is just kind of stubborn and frozen in time, and decides to take them away to this island where there's pirates and tick-tocking crocodiles and all that stuff that we love from the world of Neverland, just told from quite a different perspective. So if you love retellings of classic fairy tales, if you love fantasy worlds with adventure and magic, I think Sisters of the Neversea is a really great one for you.
Definitely. It's also, such a great story of sisterhood and family and finding your way, to band together for what you care about and what you want, despite what a tyrant flying boy has to say, right? But what I want to tell you guys about, before I get to the one I'm going to talk to you about a little longer, I want to talk to you about the mysterious disappearance of Aiden S. I don't want to tell you very much about it because that would ruin the mystery, but I do think a lot of us readers have wondered what it would be like to open a door and end up in Narnia, or fly out our window one night and end up in Neverland. But what we don't always consider is what would happen when we came back. This is that story. Aiden S. has disappeared. His brother is worried. His family is worried. His school is worried. His neighbors are worried. They're looking for him. They don't know what happened. They don't find any clues. And then 2 weeks later, he comes back. And this is the story of that, where he's been, why he's back, and how the world reacts to everything that he thinks happened, but they didn't experience, and how you blend, how you go back to a life like that after experiencing something magical. So that one I'm not going to say more about, but I think it could really be interesting for those of you who loved those kinds of books before to think about the flip side. But I also want to tell you about this sort of survival tale. It's visceral, it's immersive. It honestly held me from the minute I started reading it to the minute I finished. This is the story of a girl who, through some possibly questionable decision making, ends up getting left behind. after a very sudden emergency evacuation of the Western US states. And really what this does, it makes you think minute to minute about what it would take to survive on your own. How do you eat? How do you get things from the grocery store? I mean, there's still canned goods down there. How do you get it back to your house? How do you keep the house warm all winter? How do you strategize all your resources to ration them, to make them last, to come up with new solutions when things you have relied on run out? And how do you go about living when you're the only one there? There's no one else to talk to, no one else to share this experience with, except for maybe a dog. And what do you do? It's really a very interesting, kind of window into what it would be like to have to suddenly live alone. And I think that one of the really cool things is, she can't rely on other people to, tell her how to do everything. But one resource she does have is all the books and all the stories and all the resources in her local library. Because of course, all those books are still there left behind. So at the end of the day, this is a story of survival, and it is the story of living by your wits and by the seat of your pants and using every resource you have, including the books around you, to figure out how to put your life back together and wait and hold on until the day that the society you knew comes back.
Ooh, I like that. I just have to say I would not last very long if I had to be by myself. And also, even if I had my dog Chandler with me, she's not the most helpful dog. But, that's how important it is to be able to support each other, right? So, the last book I'm going to talk about is completely different from everything else we've discussed, but I know a lot of you really love nonfiction. So, this is a great book for anyone who loves whipping out that trivia content, anybody who's interested in learning real life stories. So, this is called African Icons, and this is by Tracy Baptiste, illustrated by Hilary Wilson. And it really is 10 portraits of 10 figures who might not be in your average school textbook. And these are all figures who are from the second largest continent in the world, Africa, and the way their legacies shaped the world then and continue to shape our world now. So, from Egypt's first pharaoh to a disabled desert queen, you get to learn a little bit about these different people with also really cool illustrations. And you even have the pronunciation for each of the names. And you have maps and graphics. So really interesting just to get to know the histories of these people that, you might not ordinarily get a movie about them or even see them in your school textbook. And so I really think that anyone who loves nonfiction, who loves to brush up on their history, who wants to impress their friends, at a fun trivia game would really benefit from reading African Icons, 10 People Who Shaped History. So,
Awesome.
yeah, are those the books that we talked about today?
It is. I
Yeah.
think we've covered our list. Of course, we have many more recommendations at the store or on our website. We have a whole holiday catalog we put together with our favorite books of the year. So we definitely have more where that came from. This is just a little highlight reel of some of the ones we enjoyed reading over the last few months.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed those. Go ahead and check out our website, bookpeople.com, or come by the store, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.